Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing? This is Dave and Matthias. We are the BlabberMalt Show, and this is episode 96,
Woo!
March 25th, 2025.
Yeah, my daughter's birthday, brother.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Kaylin.
Is she watching?
I doubt it.
Hey, if you guys don't know, we do a live show at 7 p.m. every Tuesday. We talk about beer, brewing, and bull crap. We're out and about at a fun brewery, as you can see, Eleventhree out in Chardon.
Ooh, yeah.
Dave and Chelsea, thanks for having us. This is going to be great. I hope you can see the Eleventhree, this neon sign up here, and the tanks. It's going to be a good show.
Yeah, it says welcome to the BlabberMalt Show behind us.
Yeah, it does. It probably does say up there.
You see it right back there? Dave, how do they get a hold of us?
Well, we do the show on Facebook and YouTube. We're going to talk about that. Facebook is doing us dirty coming up. But
That's all right.
We'll also be on Spotify tomorrow. And don't forget to like and subscribe, share, comment, do all the things. It helps
All
us out
the
a lot.
things.
Yeah, we need more followers.
Yeah.
Especially on YouTube.
Now,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. How about you guys? Where can we find you?
Social media, Instagram, Facebook, here, tap room, and our beers, we're working on getting more into distribution, but we are at several local Heinens on draft. We're at Sauce Tap Room in Lakewood for you West Siders. Where else are we? Pub Fredo,
Coming this week to West.
Hambone, where?
Coming this week to West.
Ooh, Westall's downtown Willoughby. We just had a big connection with downtown Willoughby, so yeah.
That
Cool,
sounds
yeah.
amazing.
And you're going to want to get some of these beers. We had a little pre-beer going, so it's good stuff.
It is great stuff.
Don't forget to hit our Beacons link. These guys got cool sweatshirts, T-shirts you can get here at the tap room. Hit our Beacons link and get our T-shirts and our hoodies and all our stuff too.
Hat,
So,
glassware, all the stuff.
so you can rep 11-3 and rep us when you're out and about at all these cool breweries.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it's still a little bit chilly outside. That BlabberMalt hoodie is my favorite hoodie ever.
Very soft, yeah.
I love it.
It's good stuff.
Ready to
Hey.
mash in?
Yeah, let's mash in.
Cool, man.
Yeah, do it.
Hey,
Weekend
brother.
update.
Yeah. So, exciting things, right? I mean, typically that I just work all the time. So,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's pretty much what happened. But I did get a chance to hang out with one of my twins, my son Mason. He and I went out and got tattoos together on Friday.
Oh, I didn't know he got a tattoo
Yeah,
too.
it's
I
the
saw
same
yours.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
Oh, wow.
kind of got the little Romans 8, 28 to 39. And
So Max, no, he didn't.
Max did not join us for the
Okay.
day.
All right.
So, just me and Mason got tattoos.
So for that,
Kind of fun.
yeah,
Pretty cool day.
yeah.
Little dad
nice.
and son bonding time. And
Yeah. So that was this weekend. It's pretty healed up.
yeah, the guy did a really nice job. The guy at Eclectic in North Ridgeville did a great job. I mean, it's just clean. So, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that was the whole point. Yeah. Kind of see it? Mhm.
Nice, cool.
So this is a cross with Romans 8, 28 to 39. And then, which is my life verse. And then over here, it's God is greater than the highs and the lows.
Oh, okay. What's the verse? I know you got to memorize, don't you?
Romans 8, 28 to 39? I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all things work together for good for those who love God and are called according to his purpose. For those he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, to be the firstborn among many brethren. For those he foreknew, he also predestined. Those he predestined, he called. Those he called, he justified. Those he justified, he glorified. Then it goes on
Wow.
to say, what should we say about these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? And it just continues on down the line.
Nice.
Finishing up with this idea of, right here, right? We are conquerors in Christ through all things. And then really this last little bit here is that, again, God is greater than the highs and the lows in your
Well,
life.
Mr. Hauk, you get an A+ today.
Plus.
A+.
I
You
appreciate
memorized
that.
your.
There's more to
verse.
go, but it's fine.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
good.
it's good
Nice.
stuff.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much my weekend. Worked. We were really busy Friday. It was a nice day out. I'm sure you guys can say the same thing. Looking forward to that nice weather. Really, really, really am.
A nice day on the west side is different than a nice day on the east side. We don't get the same weather as you guys.
And we just talked about that because we have a brewery in Madison. It's been brutal.
Yeah.
But Friday for us was like 70s and just gorgeous. What was it like for you guys?
Friday it was like 50. cold. We had fires going outside. There was a few people outside, but the Friday before, it was like 78 and sunny, and it was packed. We had to line out the door for like a couple hours, so that was great. So I know everybody's antsy for the nice weather.
I am definitely antsy for the nice weather on multiple things, not just for business, but also for personal reasons. I kind of am done with this cold weather. I need some vitamin D in my life, brother.
Yeah, I just got back from Florida, so.
How was your weekend, Florida boy?
Well, we went out and had some dinner on the patio. This was previous weekend, and went out to a little bar, had some beers, and sat out on the patio and got sunburnt the first day, like a rookie does, you know.
You got to, though.
Yeah.
So Brian, my brother-in-law Brian, his goal, if we ever went on vacation together, was you got to get kind of toasted the first day, and just let it ride. Hit your base.
That's a dumb idea.
It's a little crazy.
That guy's dumb.
I didn't say that, Brian. You can take it up with Dave.
Don't do that,
one.
man. That's how you get skin cancer, Brian.
He's scrubbing those things off his nose here
Yeah,
soon before it's too late.
This past weekend,
Yep.
low-key weekend, except we almost went shopping for a Jeep, but I lucked out because the wife, where'd she go? Oh, there she is. By the time she gets up, gets her coffee, gets ready, the place closes in an hour, so like can't go. I'm like, whew.
So what you guys might not
Dodged a
know
bullet.
is that Denise is looking for a new Jeep, and for weeks now, Dave's been like kind of holding off, pushing the pressure. He probably turned the coffee pot off, so it took a little while to warm up.
There's nothing I hate worse than I'd rather get a colonoscopy than go car shopping.
Dang gone, man.
Yeah.
That's impressive. But here's the deal, dude. You owe her a Jeep, man. The real one, because every show we talk about the fact that you keep buying new things for the brew house or for the podcast.
Yeah, I know.
We come to the podcast last Tuesday with Josh from Hofbrau House,
Yeah.
and he has above the monitor a teleprompter.
Yeah.
Of all things.
Do we need it? No.
No.
But it's cool.
So I was like, immediately, Denise walks downstairs. I'm like, you're getting a Jeep. Just telling you, like you gotta just roll with the punches. But what about you guys? How was your weekend?
Good. What did we do this weekend? We worked all day. Yeah. What day is it? Tuesday? I'm trying to think back to the weekend. Saturday. Yeah, we were here all day, all night. We had a private event Saturday night, so we did close down, which we do. So if you're ever interested in hosting a private event
the
here,
Still a Beer podcast.
we can close down to the public for a full buyout, which is good. Sunday, we just launched Sunday Brunch, so that's new for us. This was our third weekend, and it's absolutely amazing. We do brunch pizzas, brunch beers, and then, it was a good weekend. Yeah.
It was good. We just hired our chef on as well, so that frees me up from doing all the pizza stuff. So Sunday I was brewing, so bring our Italian Pilsner, which ended up being a 12-hour brew day with decoction and all the things. And then yesterday, after main day job, I ended up mashing in for one of our sours, so we kettle sour everything. So after this podcast, we'll be finishing up that rest of the kettle sour. So it just doesn't stop. It's midnight, 1 a.m. nights, most nights. So it's crazy. It's fun. We enjoy it.
And we have 3 kids, so that keeps us busy. But they're all on spring break this week, so we didn't have to wake up to get kids to school. So that was kind of nice. Got to sleep in a little bit. Our oldest took off to Florida. He's a senior this year for spring break, so he's living his best life right now. Our daughter's at a water park with a friend, and then our youngest, we have a babysitter tonight, but he's usually up here every night with us, our 7-year-old, Axel. So he tells everybody that he works here, and he busses tables and gets tips, and so he was here this weekend. Yeah.
Those tips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to put in the work.
Gotta teach
No.
them about taxes, take a little bit of
I
that.
get that. I mean, I have 4, and my youngest, they've all worked at the brewery. My daughter, who's 21 today, kind of crazy, right? So you guys have 18.
Yeah, they're turning all starting next week, Monday. 18, and then the next one, a couple weeks later, turns 14, and then our 7-year-old turns 8. So our 2 younger ones actually have the same birthday. Kind of weird. 6 years apart, not planned. She was a week late, he was a week early. But yeah, they have the same birthday. So May 15th.
Makes
Two
it easy,
birthdays.
right?
No.
So people are like, they're twins, but
Girl, boy, she's a teenager. Like, they don't want to have the same birthday party. It's like all different, yeah.
So count back 9 months, and what happened in Chardon during that time? Well, we'll see. It's your anniversary. Bam! And you thought I was being goofy? Not at all. My two siblings have the same birthday, March 16th. My youngest sister and my young brother. So, that kind of fun.
I don't hear that often either, so that's pretty cool.
It is pretty neat. It's kind of fun. I'm looking forward to today. I mean, we came all the way out here,
yeah.
get a chance to try 9 beers
Look at all
today.
this amazing liquid.
I know.
Sure glad I
We
didn't
have
drive.
light beers. We have IPAs, and I have some marshmallows in the beer. A couple stouts come on the board. I know we have some conversation to have with those, and as we go along, get a tour of the brew house. I'm going to get outside and show everybody this wonderful patio.
Yeah.
And where all the magic happens with the pizza, which is pretty neat. I think that's pretty awesome, and really just talk about what I find. I mean, we've talked several times at little brew events, and really I dig what you guys are doing. So have an opportunity to talk to you and get to know you guys, and people know what you're doing and where you're at, and what you have to offer is pretty neat. So we're excited for today, for sure.
Yeah, so let's get into the Warloft and get
First
into
beer?
some of these beers.
All right. I usually pass my mic off, and you guys and Dave can talk about beers for a while. How about that?
Sure.
What's the first beer? We have the
Yeah, so first beer, that's our House Light. So it's our House Light lager. We call it lager style. So it's Saaz in the boil kettle, but we dry hop it with Matsueka hops. So it really brings out some of that lemon lime kind of character to it without actually adding lemons or limes to it. And then summertime, we'll also do a similar version of this, but we'll also use flaked corn, kind of give it more of a Mexican lager type
Mexican
vibe.
lager, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's really good. That's really good. It is, that hot presence is definitely there.
Yeah, we're
Almost
we're
like you use like a lemon, a lime.
huge, big on hops. So
Yeah.
any culinary way we can use those hops to bring out various different flavors is what we like to do for sure.
Yeah, that's great.
Now, do you use this in your Michelada? What is the beer you use in there?
Yeah, so the Michelada is the House Light.
Okay.
Yep. So we'll blend that with like a Michelada mix for our Sunday brunch.
That'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's surprisingly good. The first time I had it, I was like, "What in the world is this combination?" Like, oh, it's almost like a Bloody Mary, but there's obviously no vodka, right?
Yeah, it's got the beer.
That's pretty fun. Do you guys have a liquor license here too, or just your
Just
own beer?
A1C. Yep, just
A1C.
beer. Yep.
So beer you brew here on tap.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yep.
And some seltzers.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do seltzers.
Seltzers
yeah,
are good.
Those are moving fairly quick.
And they do. And we just were talking about that this week at our space. But, what kind of seltzers do you have? Do you have them here today?
No, the last one we had on was a peach raspberry.
Now, do you do that you fruit them in the tank? Or
So
do you
we'll,
fruit them on the...
fruit it keg to keg?
Gotcha.
Yep. So we have a sour base that we have.
Yep.
Full 5-barrel batch, and then we'll fruit them as we want to have different
that's
flavors
great.
and stuff. So
That's kind of one of the... There's basically 3 ways that a lot of people do sours, right? Or seltzers. When people, they have their base, they either do it out of the tap and then they got pumps to it. I've been to several breweries that are like that. Or they do it keg to keg, or they do a whole batch. And so they all give you pretty good flexibility, but be able to do it by keg. How do you do that by the keg? Do you dose it individually? Do you put it in the keg first? What's your process?
So we'll add all the different fruit purees to the keg first, and then we'll fill the keg as you would normal
Nice.
tanky keg.
Heck yeah.
And then you shake the heck out of it.
Shake the heck out
Yeah.
of it.
And our bartenders hate us for that. Like, all the fruited sours and any of the seltzers,
Mm-hmm.
that fruit, when you have actual real fruit puree and not 3 drops of some random flavoring, they tend to settle out. So
You got to
shake
go
those
real.
things up.
Got to go real.
Yeah.
When we first opened up in Avon in 2015, 2016, we did a beer, which is our Green Chili Verde. Our Verde Gold is a Green Chili Golden Ale. And we did it, we infused every single keg one at a time. We brewed a Golden Ale and then really didn't know what to do. So I kind of learned from, there's a brewery in Dayton. It'll come to me in a second. Toxic. And so we were at Toxic Brewing Company for an event, and they were dosing up kegs with like sriracha, right? So they had a little device.
Jeez.
Oh, I know. They had a little device that they created out of a Senki, right? And so a de-Senki. So it would get it on, they had it covered, plunge it, and they would unscrew it and have a little device on there, and they would just do it through that, and it would actually work. And so we started doing it that way. We would just infuse all of those, that green chili puree, through that same device that they created, and then just shake the living snot out of it
Oh, yes.
and turn it upside down. And I don't know if we just were lucky, but over the course of all those years doing that, we didn't have any issues with oxidation. You just purge the crap out of it after you shake it, and just purge. But it worked out really well for us, and I think that was a fun thing. Now we don't do that at all. We definitely don't have time for that. but old stories of us going down to the cooler in Avon, which is scary in and of itself, because that was in the basement in a building that was built in 1816, and it was.
That's where the killer clown was.
There was a killer clown in the basement. That's a true story. And just kind of working through that process. So happy that I'm not doing that anymore. but it's pretty cool. So
I have to imagine, like, I mean, specifically if you're talking about seltzer, doing it in the keg like that, it'll give you a consistent beverage versus letting the bartender put so many. It's a pump and a half. It's 3 pumps. How do you feel about that? Quality
so
control.
then we can kind of control the flavors and the dosing
Yeah.
on that, right? So if you have multiple things out, like a Starbucks or whatever, like, you can put as many pumps or whatever that you put
Yeah.
in, and then people will rate those things or share photos, and we would try to have try to have a consistent product all the way across the board. So very similar with like the fruited sours as well. So
Yeah.
we'll dose those in the bright tank, and then spin those up for probably at least 24 hours, so that way everything's incorporated in there, and then keep that pump running while we're filling those kegs. So that puree will still drop out in the keg, still have to shake it, so that way everything's still in suspension. Distributors don't like that as much either. So I remember telling Sauce to Tap Room, I was like, hey, you guys need to make sure that keg keeps shaking, because eventually it'll be, it kind of looks a little bit clear, and then the last 4 or 5 pours are just straight.
It's just straight light beer.
Straight.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, when you have it in house here, you can do those sort of things. Like when you get out in distribution, it's maybe a little bit more difficult to control. So, but yeah. All right, what we got? Is this the patio?
Yeah, next up
Next
is
one?
Patio Light.
Yeah.
So yeah, Patio Light, this is kind of our riff on like a lighter hazy IPA. So a lot of the IPAs that we do are a bit bigger on the ABV. So this one's a 5.2, kind of a session hazy IPA. So kind of taking a little riff on Founders All Day IPA, but taking that, a lot of the stuff that we're doing is New Zealand hops. So this one here is Pacific Sunrise out of New Zealand.
no, I dig New Zealand hops a lot. They're really good, and that's a good beer.
Yeah, one of our hop suppliers, I was like, hey, let's get, contract hops and stuff. They're like, wait till you're, a year or 2 in on those contract hops before
Sure.
you think you know what you want to do. And I totally didn't realize I didn't brew on the homebrew side a ton with the New Zealand hops.
Yep.
And then really became to fall in love with all the flavors of the New Zealand side.
Oh,
especially
across
on
the
the
board.
hazies.
Across
for
the
sure.
board.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about, I look at your menu, talked to you guys, been to tried your beers at events, high ABV beers, right? I say this because I get a lot of flack from people for having high ABV beers, right? Especially hazies, IPAs.
Oh, yeah.
But to me, we do it because I think it tastes better. And there's a lot of science behind why I think it tastes better. But, why do you do it?
So that's my go-to whenever I go somewhere. Some brewers will say, "Oh, let's try the light lager first," and I'm like, "Whatever, big double hazy IPA, triple hazy IPA, triple dry hopped, whatever. What do you guys have?"
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I start.
Yep.
At the different places. I really like those really strong, juicy flavors in all those type of beers, and that's the kind of style that I really fell in love with.
Sure.
Home brewing, I spent probably 5 years just brewing every single weekend to try to figure out, okay, how do I get this haze? What hops work? oxidizing the heck out of some of these beers, and you're like, what is this cardboard looking thing? This just doesn't taste good. What
Sure.
the heck?
Why is it brown?
Refine that process, like and then just trying to how far can we push some of these styles? How far can we push some of these hops? So one that we'll do, I think actually is next in lineup, is the Big Primpin, which is it's fantastic. So that's another bigger one. So that's an 8.5% IPA, but we ended up triple dry hopping this one.
Okay.
So we used the Pink Boots hop blend, and then instead of just making like a light lager or things that a bunch of the other Pink Boots ones did, we said, hey, let's have all of our girl bartenders come in on a Sunday, brew with me, and then we're going to triple dry hop it. So this one's, I think we wrote 7.5 pounds per barrel, but it's probably closer to 8 pounds per barrel of those hops.
Hence the Big Primpin.
Yes, got to keep pushing it. How far can we go on
spinning G's? I got it. We got to try it now at this point.
Yeah, might as well jump into the Big Primpin. Oh, yeah.
Woo! That pungent.
Also, like, what's the point of like drinking like light beer? It's like you have to drink like so many to like. I mean, like, go big or go home, right? I came from like a major background. Like, I never even liked beer, to be honest with you guys. Dave homebrewed, and people showed up at our house every weekend to pick up 4-packs. And I was like, really? We're doing this again? I was a big wine drinker, so love my wine. 13.5 to 15.5% is what I like to drink. Higher the ABV, the better. So it's like funny too. But we do get a lot of people that come in that want a light beer, and it's like, I don't know. You gotta like,
Yeah, I agree.
And oh yeah, go ahead.
People are picking up 4-packs. So were you canning, or were you just bottling, or?
Yeah, canning. Yeah, so we have a really small canning line. If anybody has Goslings for sale locally, please reach out. We're very much in the market to pick up something a little bit faster.
Okay.
Current canning system's like 1 can per minute. It takes like 7-8 hours to do 15 cases, which is just not enough beer for even in-house. So we're trying to ramp up the distribution a bit and trying to get into some of these restaurants that don't necessarily want to give up a tap handle from some of the big distributors, which totally understand, totally get it. Willing to do some of the cans, so we need to do that a little bit quicker and maximize that time for sure.
But yeah, Dave homebrewed, and it went from the stove to the basement to the outdoor garage. And then it was kind of funny because he got the canners, started doing the 4-packs, and then COVID had happened and all the bars were shut down. So we had people like lined up all the way down our street every weekend to like yeah. So, and then it was like, I guess we like kind of have something here. Should we do this? Like, what are we doing? So, yeah. So I had, and it was funny too, because people would be like, they would stop over, and Dave, of course, had like the whole, what is that thing that you had all the taps on that like rigged? Yeah. So then he's giving out samples to everybody, and then people would be like knocking on the door, like, can we use your bathroom? And then like an hour later, he'd be like, order pizza. They're gonna stay for dinner. I'm like, so we've made a lot of friends, and we have some of our founding Mug Club members are like people that came and sip beer in the driveway. So.
And on the high ABV thing, which was really interesting. So. During
That's a homebrew thing, just so you know. I'm just letting you know.
Yes.
I guarantee it.
We very
There's
much
a reason
brew,
why.
Yeah, we very much brew like home brewing. So a lot of the malt bills, the grain bills, the hops is very much a huge carryover from the homebrew side.
And why is that? I think that's
It works.
it works, right? Economically, it works because all you're doing is adding more grain, which is the cheapest part of the process. And while you're brewing a beer, why not? What's the difference, right? So for us, we started out with, we have 32 beers on tap right now, but
That's
I would
amazing.
say it is crazy. But I think that I would say 12 of them that are on regularly were regular homebrews on our tap list that people would just come over and do the same thing everybody else does, right? And so like Ohana, it's our pineapple pale ale. It's pale ale now. It was 9% when we were home brewers. What's the difference, right? It's literally like $3 extra for a whole 5-gallon batch. What's the difference? And so,
right.
grain was cheap and nominal, and just making it, 9% was amazing for the same reason why you say the same thing. But I think that there's also that alcohol sweetness too, right? Mm-hmm. So as you look at a hazy, a big Mama Jama hazy, there's a difference between a 5% or a 4.5% hazy IPA versus a big monster New England, right? We're talking about stability in the haze. We're talking about alcohol sweetness. We're talking about overall flavor profile, hop solubility, just really everything that goes along with that. It's right there. So I think that sweet spot is at 7.5 to 8.5%, where it's just boom, pungent, punch you in the face.
You're pushing those hops up. You got to push that malt up a little bit.
You got to do that. It's got to hold it together, and so there is science behind it, but I think it's fun. You guys doing the same thing. So
Oh yeah.
I get crap for it. I don't know if you do get crap for it, but you watch our shows. I get crap for it.
Yeah, it's almost the opposite, which is really interesting. For January, we released one of our ones that we released last year called Glitch in the Machine, and it's a 10% triple IPA, hazy, and everybody, it went so fast. I was like, whoa, I guess we need to continue to do this. So we'll have our Mug Club members come in for 20-ounce pours of it and have multiple. I'm just like, okay, the reason we originally put that in the 12-ounce glass is that's what it was supposed to be in, but hey, you're a Mug Club member, so hey,
Let's
enjoy.
go, East Siders. Where are you at? This is amazing. This is good news. Let's go.
He's gonna go back to the 8-9ers. No.
Some more pints that way, for sure.
You'll have to do an 8-9% collab or something at some point. Let's go.
We're gonna collab.
Yeah.
This is how
All
it
the New
works.
Zealand hops, all the
All
oats, all the wheat. Let's go. Yeah.
So a big question, we met before you opened.
Yeah. I was at Butcher and the Brewer.
It was the Butcher and the Brewer, right?
Yeah.
Tell us that story and really like how long has Eleventhree been operating? What was the process to get to there? I know you mentioned a little bit up to COVID. Just tell us that story. Everyone wants to know. It's kind of fun to hear your history. Tell us the story. Talk about it. I know we met and talked a lot about beer and brewing, what it looks like to open a small brewery, and I don't know how many beers I had that day, but I think we had some good conversation.
Yes.
Just spill your guts. Let's go.
All right.
Yeah. So it all started. I was hanging out with my buddy Joe. So shout out to Joe. It's his fault.
Hi, Joe.
For all this. But yeah, he sent me a text message, said, hey, you want to come over and brew beer? And I thought it would auto-correct it or something and said, do you want to drink beer? And I was like, well, sure. We do that, every other weekend or so. He's like, no, we're going to make beer. So that was the first homebrew batch, and we were on an electric stove, and it was boiling over, and we couldn't keep temperatures by any means on an electric stove. I was like, oh, this was kind of fun. And the batch didn't turn out great, as some of those first batches do. And then that kind of just started the journey of trying to figure out like, oh wow, well, if we get this really inexpensive kit, for $30, kind of what you were saying, for $60, what can we make from this? So him and I ended up doing a Pliny the Elder clone, which is yeah, exactly right. So one of the brew shops down in I don't know, southern U.S. somewhere had the recipes for it, and so we got 2 kits, and he didn't want to dry hop it. He's like, this is way too many hops. I'm like, well, this is perfect time to figure out, like, do I like dry hopping, do we not? So he did one that wasn't dry hopped, I did one that was dry hopped, and we tried both of them, and we're like, holy crap, this dry hopping thing is like legit. And this was like 15 years ago, before there was all the access that we have as homebrewers now. And I was like, okay, let's just keep pushing these limits. So we ended up going down to Wilmington, North Carolina, talked to some of the brewers down there, and they were willing to share some of their recipes at homebrew scale, and kind of help out with kind of how some of that stuff works. From, oh, you use these grains, you get this kind of profile, you use this and that, and so that ended up kind of taking me down this journey, because that was the first time I had like a hazy IPA, which is crazy now that that's kind of the jam that I really like. But the one that we had down there was a strawberry milkshake IPA, and I was like, I don't know how this really works. Like, I like strawberries, I like milkshakes, and I like IPAs, so I had it, and I was like, holy crap, this is really good. I got to figure out how to make something like this. So yeah, we're doing 5-gallon batches at that point. Then upgraded to have a half-barrel Blickman electric system at home. So just kept running batches and batches, got more fermenters, and just kept playing every weekend and trying different yeasts, trying different hop strains, trying different grain bills to figure out what we like to do.
15 years ago, so you guys were dating?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, this guy's crazy.
What's
Yes.
going on?
He's crazy.
So the whole house, she'd come home. She owns a salon, so she'd come home after a long day, and the whole house would be filled with steam. And she's like,
I'm like, what are we doing?
needs
What
to
are
go
you doing?
somewhere else.
I think we've all heard that before.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Boot it out of the kitchen very quickly.
Yes.
And like as soon as the neighbors learn, like this dude makes beer, like everybody's just like over all the time.
all the time. Yeah.
I know, I'm
yes.
like, oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, so started kind of pushing the envelope of like how much flavor can we put into stuff, how many, what's the limit of how many hops we can put in, and still have, for trying 5-gallon batches, can we get 2 or 3 gallons out of this thing after the hop absorption, and just really trying to push some of those different flavors. And then from that point, I had really never entered any competitions. I know it's kind of big on the homebrew side, and I was just kind of like, not really sure on that. And one of the guys from Johnson City, Tennessee, reached out. It was called Hoppy Possum. Was one of the only competition I've actually ever done, and
Homebrew competition.
Yeah. So we went down there, took 3 different beers. So we brought what did we do?
You brought Coconut Block Party?
Yeah, so we brought our
Barrel
Coconut Block
aged
Party,
version.
the barrel aged version of that. We brought our
Easy peasy blueberry lemon squeezy sour.
yes.
Yeah. And then
And
an
then-
IPA.
Yeah. It was the Galaxy Robot Juice IPA. Down
And like
there.
we knew no one there. There was
We-
like
yeah, we
probably,
knew
I don't know how many
absolutely
thousands
nobody.
of people.
Other than like Facebook Messenger back and forth with some of the brewers and stuff. And
People brought their homebrew clubs. And we're like, we don't know anybody here. We drove from Ohio with like beer in the back seat.
yeah, so
But
it was a super fun competition. So at the end of the night, they're announcing all the winners, and we, long story short, didn't end up winning. But we got the data back and everything, and we analyzed all the data to see, where do we like. So many people said this was so good. Some of the dads were like, "Don't tell my son I was voting for you," and I was like, "All right, cool." So we looked at it, and we overall votes because they didn't have best of show. It was just kind of choose which beer you want. And as far as like best of show, we were like double the votes of any other brewery that was down there.
That's
which I
pretty
was
cool,
like,
yeah.
holy crap! Nobody knew who we were. We were the furthest booth away from everything. It was really neat to see that.
Which I think matters.
It does,
right?
it
Which
does.
is what I fought for at Sound Out Loud this year. I'm like, what people say matters. Like what they're drinking, what they vote for makes a huge difference.
It really does.
And same with you, because we're right back to back in that. I think it's a big deal for that. I mean, okay, styles are great. It is what it is, right? But what are people coming back to regularly and saying, yeah, I'm voting for that one. I wasn't going to vote at all today, but yep, I'm voting for that one.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that was kind of the homebrewing journey.
That event was in 2019, and that's when we
Yes.
we had kind of already decided we were going to open a brewery, but we didn't know what or where or how or whatever. Yeah.
So
we still don't know what we're doing.
so
now.
our exactly. So our homebrew club actually did a tour down at Crooked Pecker. So definitely shout out to those guys. And we were on the tour, and they were saying, "Hey, does anybody want to brew a batch with us or whatever?" So I raised my hand, like, yeah. And I look around, nobody else was raising their hand. I thought, like, isn't this the thing that we want to do as homebrewers, like brew at a bigger scale? So I ended up brewing a batch with Eric and friends down there, and which was really cool because it was like, hey, do I
You got hammered?
really like? Well,
Did you shotgun
that
any
happens
Bud Lights?
too. But I was really trying to see, like, can I go from 15 gallons to 5 barrels? What does that look like? Is this super intimidating? Is it not? And really enjoyed brewing with them that day. Then ended up packaging out with them on their canning system and everything. So it was really cool. As much help as they provided, just to, hey, stick around. We'll show you everything that we do and show you the process and everything. It was really neat, and it wasn't too intimidating. It was obviously way bigger pumps, way more liquid going in various different directions, and so it was really neat. And that's where we ended up hooking up. So Scott over at Crooked Pecker was like, hey, you got to meet Matthias, and so I think that brings it full circle at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you open?
So we opened. So you didn't get to that part.
Oh, I didn't get to that part.
So we were actually looking to move to North Carolina, to Wilmington. We were going to open a brewery there, but with 3 kids, and at that point I think we had like the only grandkids in the family on both sides. everyone's like, you can't leave, you know. So, and we didn't know anyone down there. We love that area. One day we hope to live down there. But so we're like, the joke was like, we both grew up in Lake County, which I don't know if you guys are familiar, just a little bit north of here. But we were like, let's move. We need to get out, move south somewhere. So we started looking at Jaga County, which is like 20 minutes south, the snow belt. So I was like, the snow's gonna make us hate living here even more. So we like want to move south one day, but right. So we started looking for like a house and a brewery space at the same time, which was a lot. And couldn't find either for like a while. We found our house, and then that was in 2019. We didn't find this space until December of 2021. So we looked at a million different places, all within Jaga County. Then we went back to looking at like Lake County. We looked like Willoughby. We looked toward like Euclid, East Lake, that area. It's just like we couldn't, out by the wineries, because like, you know, just east of here a little bit more is the wineries. And so we stumbled upon this place kind of randomly, and yeah, signed the lease December of 2021, and then didn't open until June of 2023. So it took a while to build out the space. It was like an empty garage that they like detailed cars in. There was nothing, no bathroom. There was like a heater that hung from the ceiling. There was no drains. There was no, that garage door was there, but it was like solid. We cut that out. And then, yeah, we had to end up tearing out the full floor to put drains in, and it was a lot. Yeah.
And it's pretty here. Pretty soon you're going to see the whole shebang,
Yeah, let's.
which is awesome. What's this?
I see marshmallows in this beer. Let's
Yeah.
get into that, and then I wanna talk about the space a little bit.
Yeah, go for it, buddy.
Yeah. So let's.
It's turning green. This is our St. Patty's Day beer, so.
Yeah, so this is our Magic Marshmallows. So this is our Ode to St. Patrick's Day beer. So we have a bunch of customers like, oh, do you do a red ale? Do you do a light stout? And as we talked about before, everything's kind of more high ABV kind of things.
And
so
the joke was they were like, are you going to turn your beer green?
Yes.
Like last year was our first St. Patty's Day, so.
So yeah, we did this one last year. It was a huge hit. So this year we ended up 2.5 timesing the amount of marshmallows in it. So it was ended up being 40 pounds of freeze-dried marshmallows in the boil, which took a lot longer to absorb than I had anticipated. So that was a multiple step process there. And then we added a little actual Lucky Charms marshmallows on top.
Yeah, I think I learned from you guys at the Winter Warmer that Lucky Charms marshmallows actually come packaged outside of the cereal. Just the marshmallows. I did not know that.
Except they sold out, so like all last week we were picking through cereal boxes.
Oh, really? Oh, that's funny.
So good.
Kids get healthy.
I know.
Beer gets not healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's tasty. But you know, while we go through these beers, I want to look. You know, I don't know if you guys can see. This space is nice. We got some cool murals back here. The decor it's intentional. It's eclectic. The bar is a recycled basketball floor.
Yeah.
Is that correct? We got the scoreboard right below the 11-3 sign. Looks like right out of a high school.
Thank you.
Basketball court.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yes.
It's all tied in. It's a very cool space.
Yeah, when we decided to open the brewery, because I did hair for 20 years, I was like, what am I going to do? I don't know anything about beer, making beer. It's the science part of it is way over my head. I'm like, I can't do that. What am I going to do there? So I just started diving into this whole like front of the house position. And I did do all the design, and you know, we visited how many hundreds of breweries all over. So I took a few pieces and parts from a couple different places, but I knew I wanted it to be more just like brighter and like kind of pretty. And I felt like,
and it is.
husbands like, and guys
it.
like anything, but like if you want to get your wife to come out, like, you know, aesthetically it's got to look nice and
They get these
be
cool
cozy.
rattan chairs. and, yeah.
So that's the word, right? So my daughter would say, what coffee shop has to have that aesthetic?
Yeah.
And this has a aesthetic, right? So you can come here and
Yes.
get your pictures taken now that you're 21, Kaylin, have a beverage, and everything is it has that aesthetic. So nice job.
Thank you. Thanks.
Dave, your beers are okay, but Your wife
That's
is
right.
knocked down.
That's what I always say. If the beers are no good, that's on me. It looks really
No,
nice
the
in
beers
here,
are
that's all
great.
her.
The beers are great.
And I love old stuff. I'm like a sucker for like vintage and upcycled and old things. So, and we were bleeding money at that point. So we're like, what can we get inexpensive to finish this space? So, what's the old school salvage in Cleveland? Yeah. So yeah, the 100-year-old gym floors were made into all the tables in the bar. Our bathroom doors came from old schools, and they still have this sign on the inside. One says kindergarten, and one is from the principal's office.
Ooh.
What else is, but like old and new mixed together. I don't know. This was old. This vintage Miller Lite, Miller High Life tap handle. That's water, water on
Yeah.
tap.
Which bummed
But
me
yeah,
out a smidge because I love Miller High Life.
so do we. I mean, but people actually do think that is beer that comes off the wall. So we tease them. We're like, yeah, go try it. It's free beer all day.
And who are the artists that did these murals?
So Paige Noful is her name, and I just happened to get connected with her. She's a local gal. And she came in, and I kind of told her a couple of my ideas. And it was funny, because we're on Cherry Avenue, and when we opened, we only had 4 beers on draft, and Cherry Avenue was one of them, which you guys are going to taste coming up here.
Okay, yeah.
So I was like, let's like run with this whole like cherry thing. And yeah, she did that. And then that's like the whole little, if you go up to the square, like we were talking about a little bit ago, the church is up there, and the water tower is over, and there's the historic clock and all of that. So
Okay,
just
yeah.
kind of bringing all the
I
local
did see the water tower, but I didn't pick up on Cherry Street and the cherries. I'm dumb.
Yeah.
So
And
dumb.
Cherry Avenue, like Dave was very big on wanting just to brew like these one-off beers, and people went nuts over the Cherry Avenue because we
Yeah.
do put local maple syrup in it to give it that little bit of sweetness. And you've made that beer more than any other beer. So that is kind of becoming like a core brand here.
Yeah. Did you jump ahead?
I didn't have a choice.
All right.
She said
I'm
you
gonna
had to
get
try
into
the
this.
Cherry Avenue, and I did.
Tell me about Cherry Avenue.
Yeah, so Cherry Avenue, like she had said, we weren't really planning on having flagships, if you will. But this one's been on more
Holy
than it's
cow.
been off.
You homebrewed
on
this
the
one, too.
Yeah, so this one we homebrewed a bit as well. So it's our sour base. So we do kettle sours here. So it's the same lactobacillus culture that I did homebrewing. We propped that up to do the big batches, and that's been going for about 10 years now. So we'll reharvest that off after this batch tonight.
Yep.
Before we boil. So it gives it definitely a unique flavor. But a lot of the sours that we do, we try to keep that in like the 3.3 to 3.5 pH range, more of like kind of like a red wine kind of sour versus
Oh, yeah.
like
crush you.
rip your
Super
enamel
tart,
off your
yeah.
teeth.
So this is fantastic. I mean, this is really, really good. Like, it's really, really good. So kudos.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Because cherry's tough. Cherry's tough. So let's talk about them. You said using maple syrup, right?
Yeah.
So as we drove through here, we're looking up other things and saw a bunch of things, a shopping plaza and a couple other things, maple.
Yeah.
So this isn't, just hearing you say that, this is an area that is known for its maple trees?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, so the fun story on the maple syrup. So some of the guys that were coming over to pick up cans and stuff when we were home brewing, we're like, oh, we'll stop out. We're dropping off some wood or whatever other places, and we happen to need wood at the house as well for our fireplace at home. I was like, oh, can you bring some wood out? We'll trade some beer. You're like, oh, we do maple syrup as well. I was like, wait a minute, you guys do maple syrup? And
Yeah.
little did I know, this is like the biggest maple syrup producer like in the area.
Really?
So we went out and toured their maple syrup factory. So shout out to Sugarbush Creek Farm.
Do they make you work
Their
it?
facility is insane. So they have
It's like super
Was it-
high tech. It's really cool. Their
there's
whole system there
2,000
is like
trees that they have tapped that all go down to their main central like pump location. So they have. I
Was
think it's-
anybody at Brewsology? Were you guys there? They were pouring beer for us. The three. They've now adopted the name the Maple Elves. They always dress in like red plaid or like overalls, and they poured our beer for us. But yeah, super cool family, and they're making some of the best maple
amazing
syrup. Yeah.
And then they end
Yeah.
up saving the dark maple syrup just for us. So they'll bring it by
Always.
in the 5-gallon jugs.
No, it's huge.
And
Good for
we
these.
use a lot of maple syrup.
Yeah.
Those who can't taste it, it's pretty sweet, but really brings out that really deep dark
Yep.
maple flavor to it. That and vanilla beans and a ton of cherry puree.
Yep. It's kind of crazy that, and it's great that you do that. One of my good friends, Dave Keller from Wellington area, they have a maple farm tree farm. And so what they do is they actually do old school horses, sleigh through the woods, collect the sap, do all the syrup. And so we use that in all of our stuff in the restaurant, for all of our maple bacon syrups, for breakfasts, for brunches, for chicken and waffles, you name it. But also all the dark stuff, right? We get for the brewery, which is amazing,
Yes.
right? So, anything that looks a little slick or dark, we get it, and it's wonderful. So I think it's a really cool thing. So that connection coming out here, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's really cool, and want to see how you use it, and it's really neat. So this is a great beer. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
really nice. So what you talked about the kettle souring today. What size is your brew house? Because I can't wait to see it here in a few minutes. You're going to see it too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we have a 5-barrel brew house. We oversized the mash tun specifically, hence the high ABV beers. The supplier we worked with was like, wait, how many pounds? Well, they're talking kilograms, but how many kilograms of grain are you putting in that? And they're like, okay, we're gonna have to reinforce this whole thing. So we have a 7-barrel mash tun, so we can do one rip on everything versus double mashing in for some of these bigger beers. Some of the stouts we have are in the 13% range as well. So those are all single infusion mashes right over, and then those ones those boiled for 24 hours. So quite a long time on the boil. Yeah, that was I'll sleep here for a few hours and then go back home and then come back and check everything out. So.
And worry every second you're away.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's intense. So I've never heard of anybody boiling a beer for 24 hours. And that's not a bad thing for anybody out there. It's just, we talk about elongated boils, right?
Oh yeah.
2-3 hours. Maybe I've heard people go up to 6. So maybe tell everybody out there what the purpose is of doing a 24-hour boil.
Yeah, so it's going to bring out a lot of those flavors and really concentrate all those flavors into that beer. So some of the stouts you'll have will be like a lot of people know Guinness, right? So it's really thin body on that. So a lot of stuff that we're looking for is really thick body, really, really full flavors of everything. So being able to concentrate that, the sugar water, essentially, down to that, you get a really thick viscosity. But you have to be very careful after that on the fermentation side to make sure you're oxygenating that multiple times through and making sure that yeast can be able to handle that, because you don't want to get stuck on that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But they'll end at 1060,
Yeah.
which is, we have a homebrew club that comes in every fourth Monday, and they're like, it
your
finished
second
at
runnings?
1060? Half our beers don't even start at that high, so yeah.
That is pretty high. I mean, I think it's important to know that when you're looking at a small brew house, 5 barrels,
Yeah.
I think that's what we talked about before. We have 2 5 barrels. To have an oversized mash and boil kettle, I mean, to have your fermenters and such at 5-ish, 5.5, it's fine, but you want to be able to start higher, right, and net that
Yes.
really at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so really working with your supplier, having almost a 7-barrel brew house, almost, right? More like they'll do 7.5-ish, but they'll do 6.8, 6.9, right? And, oversized versions to really create the product that you want. Because if you want to do beers that are over 6%, you got to have a oversized, mash, oversized boil kettle, or you're more than just balls deep on that. So it's a big difference. So
Yeah, almost every
by
one
balls
is-
deep, I mean spray ball deep.
That's
in,
right.
in the mashed.
That's not what he meant.
That's exactly. That's why I said that. It's what I meant, everybody. That's what I meant. So, how many beers do you guys typically keep on tap?
So yeah, usually we have 11 rotating beers on tap. Yeah.
We just sold out of the other 2 this week, and the next ones aren't ready yet. So that's why we're 9 tonight. But yeah.
Yeah, so this is Brambleberry Cobbler. So it's another ton of blackberry puree. And then we also do a tincture of the vanilla beans and cinnamon sticks. So we'll actually tincture that with a little bit of bourbon, and then we actually sous vide that overnight as well, kind of bring out those flavors a bunch more. So all of those kind of flavors are super concentrated, and then that's all added to the bright tank when we transfer over the sour base that we make.
We both have a big cooking background, so we kind of went into this like, let's make this, I don't know, we like to cook nice things, so use sous videing things as like just part of like what you did back at home and stuff. Yeah.
And that's fantastic. I mean, so when you look at the future of the culinary world, right, or even in our world as things progress, not that it's not been around forever, but we now sous vide a bunch of stuff. From our chicken breast across the board, how do you not?
Oh, absolutely.
Right, when you're looking at consistency, quality, flavor profile, juiciness, it really just makes it sense to utilize technology for that. And so I think that you were the first brewer that I've heard to do a 24-hour boil and to sous vide ingredients to move into your brew house. But that makes sense. Guys, if you're looking for a sour, these are two of my favorite, and I think we did good in a sour. These are two of my favorite sours I've had in a very long time. Yeah. So well done.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
This less sweet than the cherry. This reminds me a lot more of a wine.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's if you're a wine lover.
I like the brambleberry better. I like them a little bit more tart than on the sweet side.
Yeah,
but that's my
tart.
favorite. But and you've done a ton of different sour. I wish, well, like that's what we are kind of becoming known for too, the sours and the IPAs. But we're talking about adding more of those on our, tap handle list here because people go crazy over them. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can see why. That's
Yeah, facts. What does it look like for you sales-wise? Because we're streaming live on our channel and also on Northeast Ohio Craft Brewery News. And so Rob, our boy, 4 hits on the little keg at Hofbräu House. It's fine.
I thought we
Mitch-
decided it was 2.5, 3.
4. We're going to go with 4 tonight for this reason.
The one was just like
Josh
testing
said
the-
4. He said it 4 last week. It is what it is. Sorry, Robbie. But speaking this week on this March Madness, which, by the way, if you haven't voted yet for March Madness, do so. But in the process of that, talking about beers that have made it to the Sweet 16, right? And the big talk is not a lot of IPAs, not a lot of sours, right? Talking about the market share, who's selling what, who's selling this. And we have 32 beers on tap, so I can pretty much clearly state across the board, every style that we have to offer, what sells the most. What sells the most for you? Because you have light lagers, you have sours, you have IPAs, hazies, stouts across the board. What does it look like for you? What sells the most across the board?
Yeah, that's a great question. We've been trying to figure that out too. So we're coming on 2 years here in June, just trying to figure out like what do customers want, what do they expect when they come in. For Cherry Avenue, it was off for 3 days this month, and people were like, "Okay, we're leaving. You don't have Cherry Avenue," which was crazy to me. I was like,
It was
wow.
weird when you
Like,
weren't even gonna like make it again, and then people
Yeah.
were like, "What do you mean? That's like the best." Like we're like, "Oh," but like we're like, "You have so many other ones you want to make," but it was like, "Make it, Dave," because like they're not gonna come back if you don't make this beer. So, but you've even struggled just trying to keep that on, like trying to find a cadence of when you're gonna sell out of something. And around here, you guys know weather plays into how busy and not busy you are, and we're still babies, just trying to figure out like the cadence of everything. But wasn't like the House Light like the highest seller, which is like
yeah,
funny.
so like the light
a lot of light
lager,
beer drinkers
and then
out this way.
Also we released we've done 2 West Coast IPAs, and that was really interesting looking from January through now that the West Coast IPA was the top seller of most of the stuff that we have
From this year, January, right?
But it's kind of hard to look at that because like I didn't really break it down by like styles, right? Because like we'll have 2 to 4 sours on, so now you can do a flight of sours versus like there's one West Coast and that's it. So it's really difficult to kind of figure exactly where that is. But the sours and the higher ABV stuff is definitely moving in the direction that I like, because I really enjoy brewing some of those more culinary type beers.
I think that's the case with us, that our light lagers kind of rule the day across the board. And as much as people want to complain about IPAs, a West Coast IPA will always be second in command for us, followed by whatever hazy is out there. And it is what it is. I love hazies, and we brew a lot of hazies. It's what we do. I think that, if you've been to our location, we have 3 or 4 hazies and at least a milkshake on all the time, and I think they're all killer. I really do. So, but that's just kind of where we're at. So people always think West Coast IPAs are dead. People ask for IPAs all the time. I want a light beer. I want an IPA. And people, even those who don't know all the beers that you're talking about on your draft list, they're like, give me an IPA.
Yeah.
Right? Would you agree with that? So I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
So there you go, Rob. IPAs are still king. People are voting for their favorite brewery because they're putting it on their Facebook pages. Right? And that's not necessarily the beer style.
But I mean, the brewers this year put their own beers up, right? I mean, last year Rob picked the beers.
Rob did pick the beers last year, which was fine.
Yeah.
But I promise you, people are going online and they're voting for their favorite brewery,
Yeah.
not for the favorite beer, because not everybody's tried all of those beers. It just is what it is, and that's okay. And it should be that way, but it's literally a brewery.
Fan club. Fan
Yeah.
club.
It is a
Yeah.
fan
Everybody knows
And that's
that.
fine.
Everybody knows that,
And
right?
but don't think of it differently, right? Because
Yeah,
they look at
yeah.
the beer, they're like, cool beer. I love all their stuff, right? And that's how people vote, and that's okay with it. I love it that way. That's what it's all about. So that's not a negative thing for me. It's just a fact that they're not delineating that you guys put up a sour and they put up a hazy. No one cares. They're looking at, I love 11,
Yeah.
3. I love Lorraine or whatever, right? Doesn't matter what the beer style is. It's fun to put your own beer up.
Yeah.
But people are voting for their favorite breweries
Yeah,
and
you're
trying to get them
you're
moving
putting
on.
up your beer
Sure.
that you think this is like what most people will like as a style, and
Yeah.
if they love me, they'll put it up.
It was a nice addition to let us put our own beers up, but to be honest with you, people were voting for their own favorite, right?
True.
Speaking of favorites, you mentioned a couple flavors, right? What's your favorite style of beer to brew?
I'm probably going to go big hazies is my jam. Yeah, we're mixing up the recipe a little bit to go even bigger for this next one. So we just got hop contracts and stuff from Freestyle Hops, straight out of New Zealand, which is phenomenal. Some of the best hops I've ever seen. So yeah, so that's going to be one of the next big ones. Even more oats and more oats and more oats in that. So
Oats
it's going to
and
be
oats.
big, thick, hazy. That
Love
probably
it.
brewing that one Friday. Yeah, that's what I like. That's what I like to drink. That's what I like to brew. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Speaking of hazy dark beers.
yeah, we're really switching gears now. We're getting into. Is this coconut?
Yes. So that's the coconut block party.
Yeah.
So that was one that we did on the home brewing. We barrel aged that one for that competition we talked about a little bit earlier. So we took that similar recipe, scaled that up, and the amount of time it took to candy the coconut was much longer than I thought. That would be a few hours. But hand candying 100 pounds of coconut, it was a whole day fiasco.
Whoa. Tell me about candying coconut. I don't know how you candy coconut.
Yeah, so it's a kind of like a Guam tradition called faha. And that particular coconut, you take the shredded coconut, you add sugar to
Okay.
like a pan, get that coconut, or the sugar to caramelize, and you add
Yeah.
the coconut to that, mix it all in, so it's almost like a no-bake cookie kind of consistency.
Wow.
And typically you kind of put little drops, kind of like a no-bake cookie, but with 100 pounds, we kind of just threw them in a pan and then put them in the bright tank. So it took quite some time.
So
the
like
coconut
one
is
pan at
so
a
good.
time, doing it in
Yes,
batches. Oh
yes.
my God.
It was
Well,
just
you can
box
taste
after
it.
box. Yeah.
This is almost like it's rum-like. It's like a rum barrel aged.
Yeah, and then with that one too, then it was, I think, it was like 1.5 pounds of vanilla beans as well. So one of my buddies that is opening a meadery down in Tennessee turned me on to these guys who make these incredible vanilla beans. So we got a ton of vanilla beans from them and hand scraped all those. Those go to the bright tank as well. And then that mixes up for a few days, and
Now,
it's
let
crazy.
me ask you this. Did you know that beaver buttholes taste like vanilla?
I did not.
They do.
I feel like there's a backstory on this one that
The bum and beaver. The bum and beaver guys taught us that. Yeah. They used to. Yeah, it was a thing.
I'm pretty sure they were riding that to the.
Am I wrong? No. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so so yeah. So did you miss Matthias had to pee. He candied the coconut.
I heard that.
He candied the coconut. 100 pounds? That's crazy. In a pan?
It's crazy. But
a lot of pans.
as a person who does multiple variations of coconut porters, right? That's one of our house beers, our King Coconut. When you brew a beer and you call it a coconut porter or a coconut stout, it better taste like coconut. I mean, just to be fair, you're talking about a beer that has any flavor to it, whether it's the cherry, like it's got to taste like cherry, or people are going to be like, "What the heck, dude?" And that is a coconut bomb.
Yeah,
I love the other additions to it. I think it says, you did say,
it's a vanilla.
Yeah, just the vanilla beans
and the lactose, which is kind of brings out that sweetness, which only enhances that coconut flavor. What do you do to candy it? Did you already talk about that while I was disposed of?
Sugar. Well,
Yeah, so we essentially take white sugar,
Yep.
heat it up till all caramelized,
Yep.
then we put the shredded coconut on top, mix it all in, and do that for
Nice.
a long time.
Yeah, we just toast it in the oven. So we toast
okay.
it, kind of do that natural thing. And so we use an insane amount. That was a collaboration we did with Maui Brewing Company.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Years ago. So we used to have a place
Yeah.
in Maui. So a lot of fun with them. That's how they did it. And so just the more you use, I mean, there's a point of no return. But at the end of the day, right, that toasted coconut is wonderful. And this is a killer beer.
Oh, thank you.
Now, when I was in the restroom, which are beautiful, by the way, I have an hour mark. I drink a lot of fluids. It's been an hour. The raspberry powdered
Yes.
donut can? What? Is that true?
Yeah, so that was one we released for our 1 year anniversary.
Is that an ale or a sour?
Sour. Yep. Yeah, so we did because we're 11-3, so we
Yeah.
put 113 actual donuts in the bright tank with that, and a ton of raspberry filled donuts and a ton of raspberry puree as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that was delicious.
Yeah. I do want to just quickly ask you about the name. I don't want you to spend too much time on it because we're going to see you next week, right? But tell us how you got the name 11-3, because it's kind of cool, right?
I'll let you do this one. Yeah.
All right, the short version. So 11 was our sports number back in the day, and when we met, we both had some jerseys with the number 11 on the back of it. So Dave played soccer through college. I played volleyball and softball. And every time we would go on a date, we would get seated at table 11 or parking spot 11 or ticket 11. So it just kind of became our lucky number. And then 3's for our 3 kids. So family owned and operated. You'll see one of 3 of the kids up here probably any given day of the week. Either us yelling at them or putting them to work or them stopping in asking for money, one of the things.
But it goes deeper than that too, right? I mean, it's kind of been your thing. Like you said, even today, you kind of go around and everything revolves around that. And I think there's something to say about that. Yeah, something to say about destiny, right? So what's the story about the building?
Yeah, so the building, we spent probably about 3 years trying to find a building, and we had almost given up. So we were looking at the local dive bar menu to figure out what specials they had on a Friday night.
Which is on their Facebook page.
Yeah.
So Dave never goes on Facebook, but he happened to open up Facebook to see what the specials were.
So I mistyped the URL, went to Facebook Marketplace, and this building was the first listing on there. And
But it was listed 3 minutes ago. It was what it said, or posted 3 minutes ago or whatever.
So I was like, "There's no possible way," and so
He ran out the door and was like, "I'll be right back. I'm going to look at a building." And I'm like, "Wait, I want to come. What do you?" He's like, "No. But you messaged the.
messaged the landlord. He's like, "Hey, when do you want to come see it?" I'm like, "I can be there in 5
Right now."
minutes." He's like, "Yeah, give me 30 minutes at least to get here." So I roll up on it, and the address is actually 211.
Well, no. He said he was like, "Meet me in the parking lot next door, and we'll walk over." And then you came home. You're like, "I think I found it. And I'm like, "Well, what's the address? Where is this?" And he's like, "I don't know what the ad." You message the guy, "What's the address of the building?" And it's 211 Unit 3. So we were like, I think it's the one. So he brought me up the next day, and we looked at it. And if you've seen pictures of our building before we did any of this, it was like we had people like
was a
our
disaster,
parents
yeah.
came, and they're like, "Good luck." Like we're like, "Okay, thanks." Like, what do you see in this, you know? But we saw this, so.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I think it came together great.
Oh yeah,
Looks beautiful.
Destiny.
Yes.
You're gonna come here and drink a little bit of Destiny, a little bit of Twin Flame knowledge here for all of you who know what that's all about. 11-3. Well done, guys. That's a lot of fun.
And we do 11 and like the 11. We have 11 tap handles. David does a lot of like our beers have like 11 pounds of something, or the 113 donuts, 113. I don't know.
Yeah, most of the IPAs we shoot for 11 IBUs on the hazies. So the 11 comes up. I'm not really sure how to do something. We'll just either multiply it by 11 or 3. So the flavors, you're not really sure how much to put in. You have a good guess, multiply it by 3. So it comes up in everything that we do. And I don't know, things have turned out
That's
pretty
cool.
good.
Even the choice of brew house and brewing a hazy in the 8% range, 11 pounds of hops is the number that you want to use for a hazy.
Yeah.
So we usually use 33 pounds.
Yeah, but times 3.
Multiple of.
That's the whole point. So 11 pounds times 3.
Yeah,
And you probably didn't know that when you started, but that's exact science.
exact science.
For an 8.5% hazy, 11 pounds times 3.
Yes.
That is legitimately science and karmic science.
It's karmic science. That's right.
I dig it, man. I dig it.
Hazy name, our karmic science. I like it.
I'm in for that one. Well played.
Nice.
So, I talked about it earlier, but you know, you have this beautiful, aesthetically pleasing tap room. Oh, beer first. Let's do the beer. This says Raccoon.
Raccoon County.
Oh,
So the word jaga, like means what's the?
Raccoon, right?
Yeah, it means raccoon, but I forget like what language it is. But yeah, there is a lot of like some businesses and things in Jaga County that have like the raccoon kind of like logo or theme on it. So we named this one Raccoon County. And yeah, you can talk about the beer. Oh, it was a play on like the Jaga County Fair deep fried Oreos.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so little background on this one. So this is a kind of a rip on a deep fried Oreo. So being Jog County Fair, favorite thing when I ever go to a fair
I like the fry
is
stuff.
straight deep fried Oreo. That's the first thing I try to go and get. So a lot of people do like Oreo stouts and things. So this one we added, I think it was 40 pounds of Oreos, I believe. Like actual like crushed up Oreos. Yeah, the box was 40. Maybe I ate some, so maybe it was 33. I don't know.
Yeah.
ruin a good thing.
But yeah, so we added that, and then also funnel cake mix to that as well. So there was no actual deep fried going on with this one, but kind of a riff on that deep fried Oreo taste to it.
So 13% pastry stout. Compared to a fried Oreo, this is probably more heart healthy than a fried Oreo. No, probably. Help me out. Yeah.
Yes,
we're
no
good.
seed oils in this one.
That's good.
It's delicious. Yeah, I want an Oreo now. So quickly, we're kind of running along here, but I need to know how you got into making pizza. What goes better with beer than pizza than beer, right? But did pizza come first? Beer come first? Or?
Yeah, beer definitely came first.
Okay.
Yeah, so did the home brewing thing for 15 years. Right before COVID happened, ended up picking up a pizza oven. Then COVID happened, so you couldn't really go out and do a lot of stuff, right? So we're like, oh, let's just play with this whole pizza dough thing. So similar to the homebrew thing, where trying recipe after recipe after recipe. Did the same thing on the dough thing. So made dough for probably 5 years, ran a few parties at our house, and then the food trucks were the food trucks, and that's enough to say on that one.
No comment.
No comment on food trucks.
Well, you book them, they don't show.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll say it. We'll say it.
Yeah, you said it, not me. So we wanted to switch to a food concept, really to bring the customer experience in. That was really what our focus was. There was so many times where we'd have food trucks cancel, multiple dozens of people would walk in. Oh, you don't have food, or food truck isn't here. They would walk right out. No beers, no soda, no nothing. And that happens enough times. So it's like, okay, we need to have a consistent thing for these customers. So we're very, very customer centric on that side of it. So we had been doing the pizzas for 5 years. I was like, hey, let's try to figure out what this looks like. So we actually took a R&D trip up to New York City for a weekend. Went to the One Bite Pizza Festival, and then we hit like every single Neapolitan style pizza joint up there. I talked to a bunch of the owners or proprietors at those places. They'd show us around their kitchens, and a really great pizza community, very similar to the beer community, which is really cool. So if you need any help, need any questions or whatever, so good friends with a bunch of them up there. So worked on the recipe here and got a pizza oven. So we make all the dough in-house, all the sauces in-house, hand cut all the cheese. So everything is as fresh as it could possibly be here.
Yeah, my brother's really into pizza. He could talk to you about the moisture level and the hydration.
Yeah, we're at 65%. Yeah.
Okay. And the gluten level of the flour and all that stuff. Yeah.
66. Yeah, we add a little bit more. So
66. That's fun though. I mean, good pizza goes great with beer.
And like you said, the whole pizza and beer thing. So when we did have food trucks, we did find that a lot of times that we would have better beer days was when pizza trucks were here. So we're like, oh, okay. Going by numbers and things, that it seems like that's what the crowd, the customers like. So let's have, an upscale kind of pizzeria. We do have a lot of pizzerias here in Chardon. We didn't want to copy and paste what somebody else is doing. Very few places are doing Neapolitan style, which is arguably the hardest style, the oldest style of pizzas. But getting the dough recipes, the right, W ratings and the flours, so we do a blend of 2 different Italian flours for those. Give the dough the strength, the texture, the taste.
Wow. We got to come back and get some pizza. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, that's fun. That is super fun. And I saw the oven out there. It's
I'm gonna stop you because you're not gonna get into pizza before she gets a Jeep.
all right.
I saw your
all right,
face.
all right,
I saw
all
his
right.
face. He's like, pizza. I make
Getting all
your
jazzed.
own. Kind of deal with my no.
All right,
Jeep
okay,
first.
Okay.
I'm always on your side. I've taken the chance to say it right now on camera. But no, we're coming back out here because we gotta take
gotta
in
have
this.
the pizza. If you were gonna pick a beer to go with your pizza, what are you picking?
What's the last one?
My go-to is Big Primpin' right now. Yeah.
Big Pimp
Correct, sir.
That's correct.
Lips off just that. Big Pimp and spending G's. Yeah, that's good.
All right, we got to get to this last beer, and then we're gonna
We'll go tour.
do a tour. Yeah.
Then we go outside, see the whole shebang, pizza,
Sure, yeah.
fire pits. I know it's dark, but we'll make it work.
Did you get your avocado? Where is that?
No, what is it?
I think that one's avocado. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't affogato it.
Imperial.
Yeah, so affogato, this is the other side of that split 13% batch. So this one's really cool. So one of our favorite desserts, if you haven't had an affogato, is double shot of espresso with gelato on top. So we want to do kind of a riff on that since we're doing the
We
release
launched
that
this when we
right
started
when
the
we
pizzas.
Launched the pizzas. So kind of bringing that kind of Italian twist on a big stout. And then the actual coffee beans, we were
So good, right?
on our trip to New York City. We popped in at 11 Madison Park, and I was just needed a latte. So one of the best lattes I've ever had. And so I asked the waitress, I'm like, what coffee beans are these? They said, oh, they're from Devotion. It's a roaster in Brooklyn. And I was like, okay, we're doing this coffee stout. I need to get these coffee beans. So I messaged them. They got back and said, hey, these are 2 or 3 blends that we'd recommend. So we picked the Toro blend. What was really neat is we ordered the beans for that, and from ordering to in the actual stout was 2 days. So it couldn't have gotten
super
fresher.
fresh.
The beans were absolutely phenomenal, and the beer turned out really good. Yeah.
Which that's good timing anyway, because you want the beans to not be super wet and oily anyway. So day 2 is a great choice for that. Anyway, I mean, perfect, yeah. And that's a great beer, by the way.
It is. I mean,
when you think about a New York City Italian espresso that is like primo.
two of my favorite ingredients.
That's a 13% stout.
Yeah.
No.
Two of my favorite ingredients to put in beer: coconut and coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Light beers, dark beers.
Yep. Across
Both
the board.
ingredients. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Tell me you're gonna start roasting your own coffee beans.
He's already tried that.
We've already tried that, so we'll see. We'll leave it devotion right now. They're phenomenal.
Okay. Love this
Man.
guy. He's gonna roast his own beans. He's trying it. Yes.
So that's how we got started. My brother did the
Yeah.
same thing. Started Art Coffee. He's an engineer. That's kind of how you started, right? Engineers, I can do it myself. Why not? Let's just get after it. And you understand processes. You understand all of those things. And your beers show the truth of that. These are all really good. All 9 beers are fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing your brew house.
Yeah, for sure.
You might give us a tour of the brew house, and you can give us a tour of the facility, and then we can go outside and check things out.
Check out these
11-3 Brewing
These
Co.
flight
Chardon,
handles, though.
Cherry
sick.
Avenue. Nice location.
Thank you.
Tell us what's going on. Walk around.
What do you want to do?
Restroom
Oh,
break.
no restroom
Yeah, yeah.
breaks.
I'm gonna pull Matthias to do a restroom break. Sorry.
Listen, it is
It's
not
tough,
a shame
man.
to do a restroom break after
Pimping ain't easy.
an hour and a half. And they were concerned about us not being able to talk the whole time.
Yeah, Jay's
Not at
showing
all.
you that
So-
sick mural on the wall. There's the cherries.
So there's the Miller Lite
The
tap.
Miller
everybody.
tap handle.
I will not forget my keys here. That's why they're here by the water. That's cute.
Jay, you're doing great, but we're not paying you.
We might. He drank all my beers tonight, so this is fine. So I'm gonna give you the microphone.
Yeah.
Do your thing. Talk about the space and what's going on there.
So yeah, my big thing when we opened, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do in this space. I did hair for 20 years, but it really all came together with like, I took care of people for 20 years and made people feel good behind the chair. So I have to just mention it because I've really kind of dived deep in hospitality. I do think that could be missing at breweries a lot. You know, I said we've been to hundreds of breweries all over. And so I strive on that. I've listened to some books and audiobooks, and we were talking about being at 11 Madison Park in New York City. Will Guidara, what's the hospitality book? I'm going to forget the name of it. 'Cause I'm
Unreasonable
nervous.
Hospitality.
Unreasonable Hospitality.
Yes.
Read the book, listened to the audiobook, and he sent me a signed copy. And he ran 11 Madison Park, which is like the top-notch, restaurant. If you're going to go somewhere, it's like the prime. You have like 7 servers taking care of you all night. So when we opened, I just really wanted I hugged my clients for 20 years, every single one of them. So here it was everybody was strangers when they came in, but making everybody feel like family. The way I train our staff is you take care of that customer. You leave your worries at the door and your problems at the door, but just taking care of all of our customers. We have little things. We give free goldfish crackers to kids. We've done all kinds of little things where we've walked elderly to their cars, and we have dog treats for dogs, and I don't know what are some other things I'm trying to.
Yeah, we'll
think
even
of.
do when it's cold outside, we'll do s'mores for the kids.
Oh yeah, we have
s'more kits and stuff for the kids,
and it's just going that over the top.
yeah,
and
or
I
adults
just,
too. Sure.
There's just something to be said about it, and I love getting the reviews back on your staff was so friendly. We always get welcomed in. There's just I strive on that. So, yeah. So this is my baby, the front of the house. But I hadn't bartended since I was 21. So to do this, the first day we trained everybody, I was like, I haven't done this before. This is my new thing, and here we are now. So. I'm the event planner, the front of house manager, the social media manager, the HR department, a little bit of everything front of house, but it's going really well. It's been, a lot of learning, but it's good. Yeah.
Brew house stuff. Let's do brew house.
Let Jay go. Here, Dave, you want to talk?
Oh yeah, this is where the magic happens back here.
So yeah, so this is our brew house here. So we have 8 5-barrel unit tanks, 2 bright tanks. We can do, if we're doing back-to-back brews and everything, we can do 1,000 barrels a year out of here. We're not doing anywhere close to that at this point. We're still fairly new, trying to figure out where we're going with all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we custom built the system. So I'm software engineer by trade. Do a lot of graphic design and engineering and things. So building out the brew house was super fun, trying to figure all that kind of stuff out. So we had everything custom engineered. So shout out to my buddy Tyler at Kitsune Brewing. He's down in Arizona. So he previously did import-export for Nike, knew all the various different suppliers over in China that actually does really, really good work. So we unfortunately couldn't afford a Portland Kettle Works system. So we're like, oh, we got to figure out something else. Use my time in engineering.
Shots fired.
And being able to work with those guys over there, it was a bit of a learning curve on trying to figure those things out, but it worked out good for me. So still running a full-time job. Their hours were starting at like 11 p.m., till 6 a.m. So it worked out really good, burning the midnight oil, trying to figure out what kind of styles do we want to brew, how do we want to build out this brew house to make it make sense. So on the brew house side, I don't know how far you want to go back through everything.
Oh, we want to go deep, bro.
Go deep, all right. But yeah, so we custom engineered all the various different stuff. So all the glycol chilling, usually by default, everything comes out both the sides. We're extremely tight in here, so everything's down to the.
Oh wow, yeah, I see that.
Down to the last inch, everything's taken care of. So I had them re-engineer all the glycol piping to go up the sides of the jackets. I had seen that over at Masthead. I was like, hey, if they can just go up the top, we should be able to engineer that the same here. So we had them engineer all that stuff, work with G&D chillers to build out all the different piping. Then I installed all that stuff myself. So we have all the different PID controllers running the solenoid valves so that we can chill everything exactly how we need to. So have a 3.5 horsepower glycol chiller up on the roof. It's on the roof because we couldn't get a contractor to pour a small cement pad out back. So we had to reconfigure a little bit of the piping to kind of figure that kind of stuff out. But it ended up working out really good. But on the Portland Kettle Works side of things, so brewing over at Crooked Pecker, they had a fun valve tree. So we built out our valve tree to make that kind of make sense for all the different stuff that we're doing. So I can take anything from the mash tun over the boil kettle, back through the heat exchanger, back into the boil kettle if I need to chill stuff down. So we're sitting at about 92 degrees right now for the kettle sour. So that's probably pretty close to being done for tonight. Hitting that pH that we need to. But it's super nice because then we can, whether we're Vorloffing or sending stuff back, so we can kind of it's an electric system. So we can kind of do like a faux decoction. So it's not a full decoction where you're adding all the exact grain back through, but we can go ahead and boil that and then send that all back.
So explain what a decoction mash is, just for people that may not know.
Yeah, so decoction mashing, so you'll mash in at a lower temperature, and then you'll take, after you let it rest for a bit, you'll send that over to the boil kettle and boil it, and then you'll take that same wort that's already been boiled and put it back up to kind of heat up the mash.
So the thought process behind that is that boiling kind of modifies the taste a little bit. Is that correct?
Yeah, so add a little bit of caramelization to it.
Yeah, as well as increase the temperature.
Increase the temperature as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't have the luxury of a steam system. So our buddies over at Crooked Pecker have a steam system.
Yeah.
So they're able to kind of step mash and raise those temperatures that way.
Yeah.
So the easiest way we could do that here is boil off a bit of that and then send it back over.
Nice.
So yeah, that's brewhouse things. We don't do a lot of barrel aging, but this one here, this is actually the coconut block party you guys had earlier.
Okay.
This will be the barrel aged coconut block party that we're doing for. We're planning on releasing it for our 2-year anniversary. So we'll see how that ends up going. We'll taste that along the way. We also did the Cherry Avenue that you tasted. We also did we released it during Christmas time. We called it Miracle on Cherry Avenue. So that was our barrel-aged version of the Cherry Avenue.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
That was so good. And we have one keg of that left that will be releasing for our 2-year anniversary as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this is very efficient, very awesome. I'm going to lick the floor of what's coming out of this.
It didn't
barrel
swell
here.
as much as we want, so we're a little devil's cut that happens. So
Yeah.
is what it
Little
is.
something. Hey, you
Yeah.
want to take a look at the patio? I don't
Sure,
know,
yeah.
I don't know if we have enough light, but we'll
Make it happen.
do what we can. So it's always nice to have an outdoor space, especially in the summer. I can't imagine like people not enjoying the outdoor space out here. Oh,
That was part of the reason we liked this building. Our landlord was gracious enough to say we have as far as we want back as far as
Nice.
building out that outdoor space.
That's awesome.
So
And
when
the
we-
city was fine with you
The city
doing
was
that?
fine with it too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had to get additional permits for. It was silly. You had to get permits for outdoor patio. Then you had to have permits for serving in the outdoor patio. I'm like, what do you think we're going to do with the outdoor patio for not serving
we're-
things there? But
We're a brewery, so
it is what
yeah,
it
that's
is.
what we're
So,
going to do.
yeah.
Don't let me on.
yeah. Yeah. Do better.
So yeah, this is our outdoor patio area. So we have various different picnic tables, umbrellas.
yeah.
We have multiple fire pits that we run as well. And then in the this was our outdoor bar last year before we added pizzas. So we run this all year round. So in the 10-degree weather, it's a little bit more rough. So we got
Yeah.
a turbo heater that we refill propane with.
So the chef doesn't
every
get
single
frozen.
week, so we don't
toes.
actually freeze. Yeah, I ran a private event at like 22 degrees, and I could barely feel my fingers and toes,
Oh.
and the dough I had to kind of heat up in order for it to
Ooh.
to stretch out.
Yeah.
But party went well. Everything was good. But
It's a propane oven? Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
yep. So we're running a Gosney propane oven on there.
Okay.
So we run at about 950 degrees, dome temp, about 750, 800 for that floor temp. So the pie's cook in about 90 seconds or so.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it gives it a nice puff on the crust, and but still nice, chewy and salty as well.
Love
Yeah.
street sign. Nice job.
Yeah. So the 11th Street sign, we showed up one day and there's this 11th Street sign. We're like, where is this at? So we went back on the cameras and looked, and sure enough, our landlord actually dropped it off for us. He's like, oh, it's been sitting in our garage for a while.
Oh, boy.
We were like, oh, we got to find a cool place for this. Yeah.
That's cool.
Awesome. Beautiful space, man.
Yeah, this is awesome.
thank you.
This
Yeah,
is going to be.
It's super
in the
fun,
summer,
especially in the summertime. You know, you got the windows and doors open, and everybody just having a good time.
Nice and
And we
chill.
have all the speakers
Yeah.
inside, outside, as well.
I saw some cornhole boards inside. Bring those out.
Yeah, so the
Throw
cornhole
some bags.
boards are good until customers accidentally run them over. Then you have to get them
Have to get
fixed
'em-
and all of that. That's always
Buy
fun.
new ones. Yeah. Matthias is a cornhole champion. ZZ's famous. What? Isn't that?
Oh, real game cornhole.
Yeah, yeah.
thought you were
Wait,
being
no.
Nasty. again.
No. Have I ever?
No, I love playing
have I
cornhole.
ever?
Come out and play.
All right, well, let's come out and play.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
nice. Invite you guys out too. So, what I love about this is the idea, the little fire pits and just kind of the individual hangout zones. People love to do that when they come to breweries. And do you serve food out here for everybody? You
Oh,
just
yeah.
come and get it whenever they want.
Yep.
Just,
Yeah, so everything's just order up at the bar.
Okay.
Then the chef gets pinged over here, make all
Yep.
the pizzas delivered to the tables.
nice.
Yeah.
So where do you park when you come here?
So
So
the
kind of we
parking-
parked over on the other side. Just kind of
Yeah.
how
So
this
yeah,
plays
parking
out.
the whole parking lot's wide open.
Okay. Kind of shared parking.
Probably don't park in front of the bay doors. The granite guys will come over with their forklifts and
Gotcha.
move you out
Smash
of
your
the way.
car out of the way.
Yeah.
Nice. I saw that there's a axe throwing thing right
Yes.
next door.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So a couple activities around the area too.
Yeah. Yeah, he sends people over our way all the time. We have ads for him
Nice.
inside as
Go
well.
have some beer and then throw some axes.
Yeah, it works out good.
It's always smart.
Yeah.
Do you guys have Dora in the area? Like
We do not have Dora in the area. Yeah.
Chardon, get Dora. They can walk back and forth. Be fun.
It would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd
for
be
sure.
good for business here. So
Yeah. So usually it'll be can crawlers that they'll take over to
Oh
there.
yeah, you
and
can do that for sure.
do that way.
That's really
Yeah.
neat. So you can sit at the bar here and look inside.
Mhm.
This goes all the way. As you saw inside, this sun doesn't just flip open. It goes all the way up. So it's just indoor, outdoor space.
Indoor, outdoor. Yeah.
Awesome.
I see that this. There's a garage back here. It's kind of elevated. I'm picturing a band, like a stage.
So we could possibly. I I'm surprised the wind hasn't blown it over yet at this point, to be honest.
I saw the old barn earlier.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll do something with that space later,
Yeah.
but not right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right.
Next up is we're expanding out kitchen stuff, so that'll be the next build out we work on. Yeah.
Nice. So you are planning on doing a bigger kitchen out here?
Yeah.
Coming
So
up?
the gentleman retired. He had a transmission shop right next door,
Okay.
and he retired, and landlord said, "Hey, space is available." So we're looking at expanding out the kitchen side,
Okay.
so it's a bit more cohesive.
So you're not freezing to death in the winter when
yeah,
you're
we're not freezing to death, and then all of the kitchen supply stuff is all in one area. Versus
Yeah.
like, oh, we make dough over here, the sauce is
gotta
over on this
move it,
side,
keep
the
it
cooler's on this
warmish.
side. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be a nice addition on that.
Cool.
For sure.
All right, man. Places, everyone.
So, I mean, an hour and 36 minutes. We could talk for hours and hours with you two, because the story is wonderful, the space is wonderful, the beers are wonderful.
The music you're playing is wonderful.
You really can't hear it too much, but in the background,
Yeah.
you should. It's epic. So,
90s hip hop.
Yeah.
so across the board, you know, we're blessed to be out here today, guys. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah, and we can't wait to have you back next week in studio. We're going to get even deeper into the, how you got into brewing and everything. Podcasty stuff.
Awesome. Excited.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out. Yeah. We appreciate
No,
it.
we're-
Appreciate you putting us on
And
your
we'll,
channel.
we'll be back out here for sure. So, again, follow us on Facebook, YouTube. Dave, how do they find us?
Yeah, BlabberMalt Show on all those places. We're going to be, we're on Spotify, Facebook, YouTube. If you have any questions, concerns, if you're upset Matthias took a bathroom break, you're upset Dave took a bathroom break, blabbermalt@gmail.com. Let us know. We'll totally ignore all those complaints.
Yeah, you could email us at taproom@eleventhree brewing.com. We manage our social media accounts, so if you message us, it's one of us replying to it. Instagram at Eleventhree Brewing and Facebook Eleventhree Brewing. And we need one of our bartenders to do like a TikTok channel or something fun. We don't have time for that, but I don't know. But no,
Yeah.
thanks for trekking all the way to the east side. We really appreciate it.
Hey, no
so.
problem.
It was a blast.
I don't have a TikTok account. I'm not on.
We're old.
I'm too old. I'm too
Everybody's
old for
here
TikTok.
old. Let's go TikTok, Jen. Get out here to the east side, figure things out. Hey, look forward to next week. Thank you so much. I appreciate your hospitality. Wonderful time. Until next time, guys, stay malty, Cleveland.
Cleveland.